Newsflash, even successful men are weak with women. Yeah, I see it all the time. Whether it's on different TV shows, what 90 Day Fiancé, Millionaire Matchmaker, doesn't matter, Love Island, all these shows, right? The Golden Bachelor, whatever it is, or the one where there's an age gap, or even strip clubs. And confession, my girlfriend likes to go to strip clubs sometimes, and she's not into women, but she does like it. So in this video, I'm going to tell you why these successful men are actually weak with women and what you can do about it if you're successful and you find that you're weak with women. All right, let's get into this. So probably the best example that I can give you is the last time I was at a strip club. And one of the good things about going to these clubs sometimes is it's fantastic content for this YouTube channel. So imagine this, I'm at the place, and in general, the strip clubs are not really my thing. I'm not into having lap dances, and I basically just ignore these women, and it drives them crazy, okay? But I've seen countless guys where there's women everywhere, especially this one last place that I went to in Miami. Countless women walking around everywhere, and they're all attractive. And anytime one of these women walks up to a guy, taps him on the shoulders, the guy looks over at the girl, and it's like, I am so honored that you're talking to me, that I'm even breathing the same air as you. The guys have this look towards the woman like as if she's doing him a favor. And that's an example of how these successful men, assuming they're successful, are weak with women. And here's why, okay? And I understand this. I'm an executive myself. In order for me to have achieved the things that I've achieved in my career, I was even CEO for a marketing agency for a moment of time, all right? And like I said, to achieve that level of success at the top of the top in a company and even being an executive, there's a few things that when it comes to women will actually make you weak. So for example, successful men value peace. They value compromise. They value social etiquette, and you have to be very careful with your words. You have to be the better you are in your communication, the more successful you're going to be. And that actually comes from Tony Robbins. And this is what happens to executives, is that they become an expert in dealing with men and being polished, all right, in their words, in their actions, the way they dress, all of that. But if you want to be successful with women, you have to basically be the opposite. You almost have to be thug. You almost have to be savage, like as if you've just come out of prison kind of situation. You may be looking at me, Silver Thatcher, what are you talking about? You have to be this guy, this bad boy, and you have to come across in a completely different way with women. It's like you have to flip a switch and not be this super polished, this super polite, this super respectful to a point, this nice guy. You have to become the opposite, or she's going to see you as an ATM machine. She's going to manipulate you. She's going to use you. She's going to be a financial predator. And many successful men, they go into meeting women and dating, especially after a marriage, and they think they can apply the same things to be successful with women that made them be successful in their careers and successful in their jobs, all right? And it is not like that. And I'm telling you guys, look, I was married for 20 years. I am an executive, have been an executive. That's been most of my career. I know what this is like. And then fast forward, imagine I became single at 48, dating now for 4 years, for 5 years pretty much. And I had to learn the hard way. I got literally my ass kicked my first couple years thinking, oh, I need to be respectful. I need to apply all the things that made me successful in my career to women. And it was the complete opposite. I literally got smashed, okay? I got manipulated. I got taken advantage of financially. All these things, and I'm not gonna bore you with that. And I know you guys are going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing. And now you're like, what the fuck do I do? What's wrong with women? What's wrong with dating? Well, what's wrong with everything is yourself, actually. It's because you haven't changed and adapted and pivoted. And like I said, you need to be the opposite when it comes to women than in your job. Think about it this way. Think about it as if you flip the switch, and that switch, you're a different person. You're a different character. Think of it like in a movie, you play different characters depending on the role that you're cast for. So with women, you have to be a different character with them versus in your career. You basically, like I said, I alluded to earlier about being a thug, like as if you were in jail before and all this shit. So yeah, you need to, when you're around women, swear sometimes. You need to be a bit of a jerk sometimes. You need to tell them straight and call them out on their bullshit and go, yeah, for example, they bring up equality in your on your dates, and you're like, okay, but women actually don't want equality. And she's going to look at you and like, what the fuck is it? What the fuck are you saying? You go, no, they don't want equality. They don't want a man to still pay for all the things. They want a man to be able to get up and give the seat to her when she gets on the bus. They want a man to open the door. They don't want 50-50. They want a man to take charge, make decisions, plan the dates, and help them with their bills. Women don't want equality, ultimately. And so she's going to argue with you, but right away, this is just one example, when you're on a date and you speak like that, she's going to be like, oh, this guy is not like a typical guy. Another example of how successful men blow it with women is they chase. They think the women are the prize. Guys, you are the prize by a fucking long shot, okay? How you're the prize is because she's not paying for anything in your life. She's not elevating your life in any way. Maybe she's some arm candy, but you are elevating her life in so many ways. Sure, you might be insecure about the way you look, but if you're successful, you bring status, you bring money, you bring lifestyle elevation to her. And as she gets older, you become even more rare. And just fun fact, only 20% of men make over 100,000 a year in the United States. Only 5% make over 200, and only 1% make over 400,000. So if you make over 400,000, regardless of what you look like, you're in the top 1 percentile of men. And I'll tell you guys this, there's way more attractive women out there than there are guys who make over even $200,000 a year, even $100,000 a year. Because, so don't forget, you're the prize, not her, all right? But yet, so many of you guys get into this mindset of, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. And the thing is, at the end of the day, if you're successful, you can pay for it. Sure, it's not authentic. Sure, she's maybe not going to love you. But at the end of the day, you have options. You have way more damn options than you're giving yourself credit for. And so don't ever think that just because you're successful in your career, you can apply those same successes to women, because women are savage beasts. They can sense weakness. They can sense when you don't have a backbone. And I'm calling a spade a spade. If you are so willing to say yes to many things that a woman's asking for, if you're compromising, you're not willing to challenge her on some of her claims, like, women just want equality with men, and it's like, okay, abortion aside, like, what do you mean equality? And they're going to throw up all kinds of shit like, well, we just want the same opportunities for leadership positions. Look, there's more women CEOs in the top 1,000 Fortune 1,000 companies than there are ethnic men, so that's nonsense. Anyways, basically, women want equality only when it benefits them, and there's no consequence to them, or they are not held to the same standards as men to them, all right? So, like I said, you need to flip the switch and become almost a different person with women, and stand your ground, have a backbone, be willing to leave, and remind yourself constantly that, wait a minute, I'm the prize, I'm the one elevating her lifestyle, she's not doing any of that for her. And back to the strip club thing, I ignore these women. They don't know what to do about me, because they come up to me, they touch me, and I'm like, I'm not impressed. I mean, I'm nice about it. And they ask me if I want to dance, and I'm like, oh, no thanks, it's all good. And then I'm like, oh, I'm here with my girlfriend. And then they're like, oh, so would she like a dance? I'm like, nah, she's not into women. And then they don't know what to make of it. But at the end of the day, man, you see all these women, and I see them, and they all basically look the same. If I want, I can pay for it. I choose not to. I mean, I've accepted that it's pay to play ultimately with dating and relationships. But as I mentioned, guys, do not allow yourself to think that just applying the same things that made you successful in your career apply to dating. You need to be a bad boy. You need to work on yourself and be a different guy with women than you are with men. Otherwise, good luck. You're going to continue to get it used and abused. You're going to attract financial predators, and they're just going to manipulate you otherwise. All right. Thanks for watching, man. I want to hear from you in the comments what you think. We'll see you next time.